Breaking news on Newsday TV. I'm Jill Wagner. Right now, prosecutors are laying out the case against the man charged with murder in the deaths of 4 people. Authorities say that he was driving drunk when he plowed into a Suffolk nail salon. Let's listen to the DA's news conference.
Morning, folks. For those of you who attended the press conference, you know that this defendant has been indicted on 38 counts, including 4 counts of murder in the second degree, 3 counts of assault in the first degree, 2 counts of aggravated vehicular homicide, 4 counts of manslaughter in the second degree, a count of vehicular manslaughter in the first degree, a count of aggravated vehicular assault, 3 counts of assault in the second degree, 4 counts of vehicular manslaughter in the second degree, a count of vehicular assault in the first degree, 3 counts of vehicular assault in the second degree, a count of reckless endangerment in the first degree, DWI, 6 counts of assault third, and one count each of reckless driving and speeding. This is a comprehensive indictment that I'm not going to go over the facts because I think the assistant, Alex Bopp, did a great job during his arraignment argument, but suffice to say this is a comprehensive indictment and it reflects the defendant's depraved indifference in causing 4 fatalities and 9 other serious physical injuries. So again, these cases are serious. This case is serious. He's charged alone with 4 counts of murder in the second degree, punishable by up to 25 to life in prison. This case had a devastating impact on our community. Again, 4 fatalities and 9 injuries. As was indicated in court on June 28, 2024, around 4:30 p.m., the defendant crashed through the Hawaii Nail and Spa located at a strip mall at 796 Grand Boulevard in Deer Park. Just prior to the incident, the defendant had been drinking all day, we allege. He was located behind the Kohl's shopping center as well as the Stop and Shop shopping center, which was across the street from the strip mall where the nail salon was. He then shot across the Kohl's shopping lot, across Grand Boulevard, and into the salon, exhibiting a total disregard for public safety and, again, a depraved indifference to human life. Prior, at the time of this incident, the defendant was residing at Comac Motor Inn. He had purchased 2 bottles of Montebello Long Island iced tea at about 11 a.m. that morning, and he was operating the motor vehicle. Despite being intoxicated, he was operating the motor vehicle adequately until he wasn't. And he began swerving around other vehicles. He disregarded 4 stop signs. He sped through 5 crosswalks, nearly hit other pedestrians, other cars, and then he ran that red light. He went airborne through Grand Avenue prior to crashing directly into the salon. And again, the assistant talked about the scene at that nail salon when that vehicle, that 5,000-pound vehicle, went through the front facade of that building at 78 miles an hour. Eyewitnesses described it as though a bomb went off or there was an explosion. There were debris, glass, dust, and smoke strewn about. People had difficulty breathing in the chaos. An absolutely horrific scene. With regard to the victims in this case, again, as a result of this defendant's depraved indifference to human life, 4 individuals are dead. New York City police officer Amelia Renheck, 30 years of age, Zhen Kai Shen, 37, Yan Yu, 41 years of age, and Maizi Zhang, 50 years of age. All the last three were employees of the nail salon. Again, as was indicated in court, everyone going about their lives and until this unspeakable tragedy unfolded. In addition to those deaths, we have a number, unfortunately, of other serious injuries. We have an employee who lost her spleen and suffered multiple fractures. We have a 12-year-old child with a fractured ankle that required surgery as well as the implementation of hardware into her leg. A customer was airlifted for hip surgery, and in addition to that, we had 6 other injured customers as well, all requiring hospital treatment. We allege the defendant was intoxicated at the time of this accident. We detailed in court the defendant's condition upon his arrest, how witnesses detected an odor of alcohol on his breath. He had slurred speech. He had bloodshot eyes. In addition, they found alcohol in the vehicle itself. There were 2 empty bottles and 1 full bottle of that Long Island iced tea cocktail. Thereafter, a search warrant was executed at his residence at the time at the Comac Motor Inn, and an empty alcohol bottle was found in his hotel room. Again, this was a conscious choice by this defendant to both drive while intoxicated and then operate that motor vehicle with depraved indifference to human life. Again, we have a number of significant charges, all of which reflect the injuries and the conduct of this defendant. We have 28 felony charges, 9 misdemeanor charges, and the 1 traffic infraction, which is the speeding. And again, those charges reflect this defendant's conduct as well as the multiple injuries suffered to the various victims. The defendant has been arraigned. He's being held without bail, and his license has been suspended. We reiterate our commitment to this case and our commitment to seek justice for all the defendants, for all the victims in this case. I believe the next court date is August 29th. Prior to coming out here to talk, I spoke with the victims' families and some of the victims as well. In our view, the purpose for this press conference and the subject matter of this press conference, it's not about this defendant. What it is it's about these victims, attaining justice for those victims, but moreover, it's about raising awareness of what is happening on our roads, not only in Suffolk County, but across our state and across our country. It is absolutely unconscionable at this time for anyone to operate a motor vehicle while intoxicated, especially in light of all of the rideshare apps we have and all of the avenues people have to make reasonable choices, reasonable choices to not endanger people by operating motor vehicles. Because, if you do operate a motor vehicle while intoxicated, unfortunately, as we've seen over and over again, tragedy ensues. So I think that's all I really wanted to share with all of you. Does anyone have any questions?
Mr. Tierney, how unusual is it for the grand jury to return the indictment not on particular homicide or manslaughter, but on murder? And do you think that this is a change now going forward?
Well, I think cases involving vehicular crimes, and listen, the vehicular crimes, I could talk about how inadequate our vehicular crime statutes are in New York State, how inadequate our driving while impaired by drug statute is in New York State. But that's not what today is about. But suffice to say, these cases are extremely fact-specific. So you have to marry the facts of each individual case with the charges available. And given the facts of this case, given this defendant's conduct in hurling that vehicle at 78 miles an hour through that establishment, depraved indifference murder is the appropriate charge in this case.
Mr.
Yes.
You just just spent some time with the victims. They just saw the defendant, some of them for the first time. Did they say anything about how they felt seeing him in the state he was in?
Again, it's not about the defendant, and I would never speak in the place of the victims, but I could tell you, the victims' concern are, for those victims that are still with us, for those victims we've lost, and also for the safety of our community.
Any sense of what he was trying to accomplish when he put out his car?
I think that we're able, through the great work of our major case unit in the Suffolk County PD, as well as our ADAs, our prosecutors, we're able to, basically using a myriad of different evidence, such as financial records, the car data recorder device, as well as video, we were able to recreate what, in large part, what the defendant's activities that day. Suffice to say, the defendant was operating his vehicle appropriately, other than the fact that he was intoxicated, until he wasn't. And then he was acting with extreme depraved indifference. We don't have to prove motive. Nope. Yeah, so there might have been an error in court. The hospital blood revealed a blood alcohol content of 0.17.
And there was talk about how he had purchased that particular alcohol from a steep cocktail from the liquor store, and that was the only purchases of alcohol that he had made in a certain window. But had he been to that store regularly in that window of time?
Well, that was where he would go basically every day, or just about, and buy those 2 Long Island iced tea cocktails. So, we can't say with absolute certainty what he purchased that day. We can only say what he used his credit card for, and what he's on video for, and the video and the credit card information indicates that he purchased those 2 Long Island iced teas at that store next to the nail salon at approximately 11 a.m. He had a regular custom and practice, which reflected that he would go to that store.
It seems unusual considering I believe he lived in Dix Village for a while and Colmac to then end up at that store in Deer Park. Is there?
Well, I think again, if you look at where his house was in Deer Park, those set of stores were in close proximity to where he resided in Deer Park prior to selling his house. He then moved to the Colmac Motor Inn, and if you look at the location of the Colmac Motor Inn in relation to that area in Deer Park, it's basically just a shot down Jericho, and then I think it's Colmac Road, and you're basically there. So close proximity to each other. The motel in which he was staying at, and the incident of the crime scene.
I just want to confirm, you just said you can't say what he purchased that day, but you then followed it up by saying the video shows.
No, what I can say is we can only talk about what is shown on video and what is reflected by his financial records, and that is the two Long Island iced tea bottles. That doesn't mean he didn't purchase other things, just use cash, for instance.
And I'm not, do we know what he did during the day? I know you said a written statement, but between the time of the purchase and the time of the accident. We were able to establish a timeline through a myriad of reasons, and it appears as though after leaving his hotel, he went to, I believe, a Sunoco gas station, got gas, filled up air in his tire, and then he went to that liquor store, and then he was basically in that stopping center in the Coles and driving around the area of Deer Park and that location, or around that location, until the incident. So he was basically, after he left the hotel, he was in his car.
Does any of the video that you have from that time frame show him drinking that alcohol in the car while driving around?
I'm not entirely certain, so I don't want to speak to that.
Was the blood sample taken at
talking 2 hours later, is that right?
The blood sample was taken by the hospital staff shortly after his arrival to the hospital. I don't know exactly when. Thereafter, the law enforcement attempted to withdraw a blood sample, but they were only able to withdraw so much blood, which was insufficient. So we then applied for and got a search warrant to get his hospital blood, which reflected .17. Do we know when the blood was drawn from the hospital?
6:10.
So how? 6:10?
6:10.
Okay, so the hospital blood was drawn at 6:10 in the evening. Thank you.
No, I don't think we're doing that.
That was Suffolk District Attorney Ray Tierney. He says that they have indicted the suspected drunk driver, Steven Schwally, with 4 counts of murder and a slew of other charges. As we've reported, Schwally is accused of driving drunk and plowing into a Long Island nail salon, killing 4 people, 3 employees, and also an off-duty NYPD officer who was getting her nails done ahead of an upcoming wedding. Police say that Schwally had pretty much been drinking all day long before that crash. He as well, they say, had a blood alcohol level of .17. That is double the legal limit. That was taken, his blood alcohol level taken at the hospital shortly after the crash. And Tierney, not mincing words here, he says the suspect showed depraved indifference to human life, again, been drinking all day prior to the accident, a complete disregard for public safety. You could stay with Newsday TV for breaking news and updates, and you can read more about this story on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. I'm Jill Wagner.